Have you ever gotten an idea that maybe you want to cut some of your own steaks and you see those big cuts at the store and just don't know how you might handle some of those? Well, I want to talk about one today, and that being the sirloin. I'm Dr. Davey Griffin, Extension Meat Specialist and Professor in the Department of Animal Science here at Texas A&M University. So we're going to take some time and take this whole sirloin that I've got here on the table and cut it into steak portions that you could then vacuum package or just overwrap and put into your freezer. So let's get started. So when we look at this sirloin, it's a pretty big size cut that's going to weigh 8 to 12 pounds, maybe something in that range. And so when we start this, we're going to make this into varied steaks. So the first thing I'm going to do is just separate the cap muscle from the gluteus medius, and you can see there's almost a seam that we can move through. The cap muscle is actually a triangular portion of the biceps femoris, and so we're not going to get all of that biceps on the sirloin. So what I'm doing is I'm just cutting, staying in the seam between the muscles to try to remove the cap. And again, you'll get out here to a point where the cap kind of disappears. And when we do that, now we've taken the cap right off the top. In this instance, I'm going to work on the major part of this, which really includes mainly the gluteus medius muscle, but also a couple of other smaller muscles. So I'm going to take some of this exposed fat off now. We still have a little bit of external fat on here that we can trim down. Turn this over to the portion that was up against the hip bone of the animal, and you find that a lot of times there'll be some bone skin or perimysium on there, that this will always ruin a good eating experience. So we're going to take it off as well. Now again, I could just cut this into sirloin steaks, or there's actually a couple of other muscles on this side of the sirloin that could be removed. They are less tender than some of the other muscles. And again, this is a little harder seam to find, but it is there. And once we've got into that, we can remove these muscles. Now these will not make a good steak. You could use them for some fajita type applications, or a lot of people will put these into a grind or even into some stew meat to be able to utilize them and not waste it, just that it doesn't eat as well on a steak as the rest of this, which is now the gluteus medius. At this point in time, we could, like I said, cut this into center cut top sirloin steaks, or if we wanted to do something even a little more different, if you'll notice along this edge is a little bit of gristle. If I am really careful, I can follow that seam with that heavy connective tissue, and I can separate this into some smaller, more manageable logs or pieces. Hopefully you can see that now we've exposed a great deal of connective tissue that would be a variation in eating quality. Now I can come in just on the other side of that, remove that heavy connective tissue, and after doing that, now I have a log here. If I was going to use this for barbecue, I might go ahead and cut this into 2 more equal portions, and I can smoke these in a short period of time to make smoked sirloin. But I can also come in here and cut steaks out of this. Most of the time these we would cut into more like fillet portions. On the rest of the gluteus medius, we could either make 2 more logs and do the same thing, or we can cut this into top sirloin steaks that are what we would refer to as a center cut top sirloin steak. So that's the center portion of the top sirloin. We've still got the cap muscles, or the cap muscle. And so I want to take just a little bit of time and work through this, kind of clean it up a little bit, take the fat off of the outside. Now on this inside portion of this, there is going to be some heavy connective tissue. So we want to take that heavy connective tissue off just by skimming it right off the surface. If you were to take this portion, a lot of times these are used, well, there's several different methods for which these would be used. A lot of people will refer to this by its South American name as picanha. And so this is the picanha. You can smoke this whole portion as picanha or just top sirloin cap, or we can come in, use a little bit of this off the side, but we can come in now and cut across the grain on these and make top sirloin cap steaks. And these are always tender. So we could trim those up, make those into some beautiful top sirloin cap steaks. Now, you hopefully know more about the top sirloin. You have some familiarity with the cuts out of it. I hope that you can use this information to your benefit to be able to take a whole top sirloin apart and use a bunch of different, or make a bunch of different cuts out of it. If you need more information about different meat cuts or anything to do with the meat industry that we can help you with, go to meat.tamu.edu in the Department of Animal Science. Thanks and gig 'em.